This is David with the Paranormal Associates podcast. This is going to be kind of a short video. Last night I happened to run across The Passion of the Christ, and I hadn't seen that for, I don't know, maybe a year or two. So I watched it again, and of course, I got emotional. I mean, seeing everything that Jesus went through. So when the movie ended, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm in this room when I'm watching it, and I go, I wonder how evil reacts to me watching that. So, for the people that might be new, I always check, and connect to the other side and see what's around and what might be coming at me. So I was in the room, so I closed my eyes, and as soon as I close my eyes to connect, I see like this large black orb, and it looks like it's maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 feet away from me, from on the other side. So then I turn a little bit and look over there. There's another orb, and I keep turning and turning, and there's an orb one after another. And finally, when I got to like 5, I just stopped turning because I figured that they're probably all around me. And I'm sure that just irritates evil, watching, something like that, The Passion of the Christ. But it's funny, I never thought about that before, how evil would react, because I thought when I would connect to the other side, they'd show these, hideous faces or anything like that. But they just showed as black orbs, and I've never seen evil like that. Now I've seen little, small orbs of evil that, they're in the room or whatever, and that's no big deal. But you could tell these were rather large, but they were, at least from my perception, when I connect to the other side, they're maybe, 15, 20 feet away. But I found it odd that they're showing as orbs. And, I thought for sure it would show like faces, grotesque faces or something like that. But everywhere I turned, it was just orbs, large black orbs. It almost looked like the sun, but then just all black. And I couldn't tell if there was like, something like ruffles on the end. I don't think it was fire or anything, but maybe that's just the way it came across. But I thought that was kind of odd. I thought, that they would try to come at me more or whatever because I watched that, or maybe, on some level they're scared of when people watch something like that. So I've never really thought about that before when I've watched it. I've watched it probably like 4 times now or something like that. I'm not for sure, but I've never thought about doing that, connect the other side and see how evil reacts to that. And when I kept seeing orbs, I go, they have to be intimidated, because I've always seen them, with the grotesque faces or whatever, but I've never seen it where after something like that, they just showed as large black orbs. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I was expecting, the faces or whatever, but they all just showed orbs. So I don't know if they've from that movie and what it discussed, maybe it shuts them down to the point where they're just orbs. They can't be themselves, with the hideous faces or whatever the case might be. I mean, I just an educated guess. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I find it odd that after that movie, they're only showing themselves as orbs. So I guess by, from God or the Holy Spirit or whoever, that somehow it forces them to like shut down, that they can't, try to be their evil selves. Because I thought after I saw the first one, I go, well, I'll turn over here. And then there was a second one. I thought, okay, the next one will probably be a face. And then I kept turning. And when I got to 5, I thought there's no point going around the whole room, because every one of them is just showing as a black orb. So I guess in a way, it's like protection, if you look at it from that perspective, because, they're not showing themselves. They're not moving around. They're all just sitting there. And it kind of looked like, not flames, but something was moving around the edge of the orb. And I don't know if that's anger on their part. They're trying to, be evil or whatever. But every one of them showed that, that it just wasn't a smooth orb. There was something moving on the outside. So, maybe with that, they can't handle that evil, and so they shut down it just like an orb. And then I guess after a period of time, they can go back to being, the rotten, evil people that they are. But I find that really interesting, and I don't know why I never thought of that before, but I was sitting there, about 10 minutes after the movie, and I started thinking, I wonder what happened if I connected now to see what, I'd see, and now I know what it is that they shut down and they just show themselves as orbs. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I thought that was just really interesting that just the movie itself can project enough, God's power or the Holy Spirit for them just to kind of shut down, because I've never seen them just as orbs. I thought maybe they were coming in and out of the orb, but no, there was no movement. It was just orbs, everyone I looked. So I assume each orb was an individual evil spirit, but they couldn't do anything because of the movie I watched. So I thought that was really interesting, and I'm going to have to watch that more often just to, if it gets kind of heavy in here sometimes, then I'll watch the movie. Of course, I always get emotional watching it because everything that Jesus went through, but I thought that was kind of amazing that they looked like just that movie itself shut down evil, or at least put them on hold or something like that, because everywhere I turned it kept showing just an orb, and I thought for sure I was going to see someone, showing a disfigured face or whatever, but yeah, there was nothing. So I thought that was really interesting, so I just wanted to share that with you, and I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks.